All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I know it's been a little bit of a minute that we've actually been on the air, but due to the onset of Mardi Gras and all that goes on with that, it takes some time for us to get back in style and fashion. My name is Alan Smason, and again, welcome to NOLA Theater Folk. NOLA Theater Talk, I should say. The NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group is where we broadcast to. Theatercriticism.com's Facebook page, and my own YouTube channel. And it is not going to be a case of deja vu, but I will tell you that we're very fortunate tonight to have a star of the stage returning to New Orleans. And she's not here yet, but she will be soon. And for those of you who were fortunate enough to be able to see her perform back in, I think it was about 4 years ago. We had 2021, I believe it was. We had Hedy, the life and inventions of Hedy Lamarr. And the one woman star of that show is Heather Massie. And I'd like to welcome Heather back to the show. You have your beautiful picture behind you. And I have a few pictures I'll be throwing up throughout the night too. But again, Heather, I appreciate, we've kept up contact with one another through the times. And you've been going all across, not just the United States, but all around the world with this show. So again, how many countries and continents have you been to now? 4 continents and how many countries?
5 continents, 26 countries. And I've done repeated some, but since I was at the National World War II Museum in 2021, I think I've been to 22 countries.
That's just absolutely amazing. So, and again, I remember one of them wasn't it Sweden, where you were part of a science conference that your show was incorporated as part of a scientific conference about the importance of Hedy Lamarr. That's kind of interesting. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I did a tour and I was funded through the U.S. Embassy. And what you're speaking of, I believe, was the Vetenskapsfestivalen, which is a science festival. And that was in Gothenburg. And I performed also at several science centers throughout Sweden. And in the midst of that, I went to Finland for the Finn Fringe in Turku, Finland.
And again, everybody seems to know about Hedy Lamarr in Europe, but it was a little bit of an education for a lot of the people here. And the World War II Museum, thankfully, BB Stage Door Canteen is the vehicle for enlightenment in terms of letting people know a little bit about Hedy Lamarr, because everybody knows Hedy Lamarr was this famous film screen star. And reputed to be the most beautiful woman in all of Hollywood at one point.
In all of the world.
Right. And again, not many people really would think about her as a quote unquote scientist. And yet she was responsible for the development of what we all now today take for granted is Bluetooth. And, basically, as you explained in the show, it was a way of her being able to contribute to the war effort, and for her to suggest multiple frequencies that would allow torpedoes not to be jammed, etc. In a short, So the idea was is that if you move the frequency around, that the axis powers could not lock on where the torpedo was and jam it, that they would have more difficulty doing that. And that's basically what became known today. And that's why on our phones, et cetera, now we have, Bluetooth technology to connect our phones to our cars and what have you. I mean, it's kind of ever present everywhere, it seems like. So as you know, we like to bring in a little, because we started this show during the pandemic. I remind everybody that we like to bring in a little something to soothe our palates as well as our gray matter. And so I always ask everybody to bring a drink. And I say it does not have to be alcoholic. Right. And I know when people are preparing for shows, a lot of times their directors don't want them to indulge. And I appreciate that. But I don't have a director, number one. And number two,
you are your own director.
I need every now and then to avail myself of the medicinal properties that there are. So this is a little amaretto. And I
love
believe it's up to snuff. So I'm gonna have that. Just a little sweet. Smells a little bit like almonds.
Amaretto is a good
Very
one.
nice. So I'm gonna be sipping that. So we're talking with Heather Massie. Heather is a one-woman show, literally and figuratively, with Hedy. Later on tonight, we are going to be also talking to another group that's going to be sponsoring another one-woman show called Two Elizas. And I don't know whether or not you've seen that show in New
I've
York.
seen it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Everyone go. It's exquisite.
So we'll talk about that later, but your time is on now. And we're going to also mention the fact that we have a number of opportunities for people who are on basically the internet right now watching us. If you want to come in and leave a comment, you're more than welcome to do that. Our comments will show up just like there. You just leave your comments, and if you want to compliment Heather on her show that you've seen before, or you wanted to ask a question, you can do that. We can continue onward. Let me see if I can on the fly try to share my screen with I think I can do this right now. So let's see if we can do this, and hopefully when I share this, we won't have our microphones on. We can go ahead and see if I can get this to line up. The only thing is I've got to make sure that I know where the file is, so I don't want to. Just give me a second here. Yeah, okay, getting close. I can feel it. Okay, almost there. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay, let's see. All right. One more time. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay. Yep, got it. Okay, good. I have to sort of do a little quick in and out on this one. So we're going to go back over here. And I'm going to take this off of here and pull that down so that I can start that. Okay. Make sure I've got that to where I can start it. Okay. All right. Back to here. All right. Let's share this out. Let's get it to go.
She was known as the most beautiful woman in the world, but she also invented technology for torpedo guidance during World War II. You know, I developed that to help defeat Hitler. Her invention of frequency hopping spread spectrum technology is used now in so many of our wireless systems. In this show, it's the audience who has summoned Hedy from the beyond to explain just how it is that someone so unexpected was able to create technology that we use every day.
You learn so much, and she does all these characters.
You don't have to be a Hedy Lamarr fan or know much about her to appreciate the show.
People need to hear the story.
It will give you greater appreciation for your mobile phone and the technology behind it.
I'd say it's about time. That's what we thought too, Miss Lamarr.
And there you have it. A little bit of a video plug. And again, this show is going to open this weekend, is it not? Now, you're going to be having several shows for some of the students that you didn't have last time. That some school students are going to be able to learn a little about Hedy.
I'm really excited that we're adding school shows. So on Thursday, March 12th and Friday, March 13th, we have 11 a.m. Shows for schools coming in. I know they still have some room. If anyone's interested in bringing a class, even a homeschool, even your kids for that show, I say ages 12 and up. And you could contact the museum and the education department to set that up.
That sounds fantastic. And again, the show, I believe you have a show at night on Friday night. And then you have, is that right?
No, Friday is 7.
7 o'clock. That's Friday night.
Friday, March 13th, 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, we have 2
right.
of them at 1 p.m.
Right.
7 p.m. Both of those you can get also a meal ticket. So you can get
Right.
just the show, or you can get the meal in the show. Now the meal would start an hour and 15 minutes before the show time.
Right. So if you have, I think 11:45 is when the doors open. Is that right?
Yeah, 11:45 for lunch and apparently 6 for dinner. So
Yes.
an hour before for dinner and an hour and 15 for lunch. And then Sunday we have a matinee at 2.
Yes. Now, I don't think that they have a meal attached to the Sunday program, right?
Nope, just the Saturdays.
The Saturday's the only time. If you're hungry and you want to see the show, dinner in the show, or lunch in the show, you can go on Saturday. And and that's the 14th, March the 14th.
Yes, on the 14th. We weren't able to do that in 2021 because
one of the things is they try not to put shows opposite parades, but New Orleans, we happen to have a lot of fascination with parades. Mardi Gras begins and ends, and then all of a sudden, guess what time it is? St. Patrick's Day and St. Joseph's Day.
But I think there before St. Patrick's Day.
Just have a St. Patrick's Day parade in the Garden District that same day on the 14th.
I think I'm going to stay around until then. I think I'm going to be leaving on the 8th.
No, it's
I'll be there for the parade.
It's the day of your show, I think. That Saturday, I think.
The parade is on the Saturday.
Yeah, the Saturday.
Not
yeah,
on the 17th.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
now, it could have the following week. I'm going to go, but anybody knows out there, let me know. But normally, it's done on the Saturday.
I don't know about that.
I know, and
plus, do that.
Plus, the other thing is it could impair people from uptown trying to get to your show, because the route of that parade is in the Garden District, and it's sort of between the uptown area and down to Louisiana Avenue. So we'll see.
Okay, I'm looking at it. New Orleans St. Patrick's Day parade.
Does it say anything?
It says St. Patrick's Day on March 17th each year.
Well, because they have about 3 or 4 different. They've got one downtown that used to be Jim Monahan's parade. So you never know. You never know.
I don't know. But don't let that come early.
Do not let that defer you.
Come early for the food.
So Heather, again, for those who are out there, thinking about it, this is a great show to bring grandkids to, I think, too, to let them learn a little bit about history. But it not only teaches them about World War II, it teaches them about the history of Hollywood. And then again, the aspect of the science is also integrated into the show as well. And this show actually started how long ago now? Have you been curating this?
I've been doing this since, I premiered March 9th. I'm sorry, not March. Had a long day. November 9th, 2016. So that would have been Hedy Lamarr's 102nd birthday. Now she would be, I think, 111. So I've been doing it for over 9 years.
And it's almost 10 years. In November, it'll be 10 years.
In November, 10
full
years.
Decade of Hedy. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
when you think about it.
The first reading I did was the summer of 2016 in July. And the first, the world premiere was November 9th.
And again, for those of you who are interested in finding out more about it, I know it's on the World War II Museum's page. Yes. But I can tell everybody that if they go to National, I think it's National World War and then the number 2 museum.org.
So National WW2.
That's right. National WW2.org, museum.org. And then you go to BB Stage Door Canteen is basically what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
It's on the front page there, BB Stage Door Canteen, and you can see all the dates and you can buy tickets there immediately. We'll put that banner up in just a little bit. I wanted to throw up. I know we've got a couple of you've got a newer picture. We showed one of the videos earlier, and I know you've got a whole slew of stuff that I should really have more of. But I wanted to make sure that we had some good representation here.
Yeah,
and I know you've got like I said, a new image, and then you've got sort of the old shots that we had as well. So I wanted to throw a couple of those up so people can get an idea. Now this is your old image.
Yes, right? The museum likes this one, and I do too. It's because because it shows the torpedo. So Hedy's invention during World War II, of course, as you explained, was for improving torpedo guidance.
Right.
So having the torpedo there is key to the museum's interest in the show. And like you said, we're now using it in a lot of things like Bluetooth, also cell phones, Wi-Fi, GPS, the Milstar system and military satellites, barcode scanning, cordless telephone, CDMA, all manner of things. So Hedy is essentially the mother of Wi-Fi.
Why? That's pretty much, and again, there's a lot of stories about Hedy Lamarr. I mean, a lot of us remember her from Samson and Delilah.
Yes.
That was what, Victor Mature, was that who she was opposite?
Yes.
And that was filmed in Technicolor, one of those great biblical films that they did. It wasn't Cecil B. DeMille, but it was
it was, yeah.
That was Cecil B. DeMille? Okay.
Yes,
I couldn't remember who it was. But yeah, it seemed to me that it was just one of those grand Hollywood films that it was prevalent during that day, up to and including the 10 Commandments and the greatest story ever told later on that they had. But this was specific. And again, I don't think Cecil B. DeMille ever let accuracy ever get in the way of a good movie,
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, in the Bible, really, that the whole story is a bit of a footnote, right?
Well, a lot of times, if you read the Bible, it was never Delilah who actually cut the hair. It was actually someone she brought in to cut the hair, and there were always these other aspects to the story where he falls asleep and she says, Samson, the army is about to attack. And he had said something like, if you bind my hands, I will lose my strength. And she had bound his hands before he went to sleep. And of course, as soon as she put the alarm out, he burst through, and she realized he was not telling her the truth, et cetera, et cetera. So, there's those aspects of it too, that you don't really get the full version.
And of course, it's Hollywood, so liberties are taken.
Yeah, you know what? Hollywood never got allowed the truth to get in the way of a good story. That's just the way it is. Again, Heather, you call where home mostly now when you go back?
I'm based in New York City, and my hometown is Blacksburg, Virginia, and I've since COVID, I did spend most of the COVID years in Virginia because my boyfriend is there. He was in the very first play I was ever in. It was an outdoor drama called The Long Way Home. I played the lead, Mary Draper Ingalls, and he played my husband, or Mary's husband, William Ingalls.
Yes, and I'm gonna try to get some more photos up because again, you've got so many different options here of different aspects to the show that I thought people would really have a good time looking at. We've got I know you've got a new one that you had, which was a square. I think it's pretty much the same as before, but I'm going to try to see if I can add that to the mix.
Repertoire.
And we basically have a number of different shots that you've got featured that people get an idea about. Now, how many costume changes do you end up going through in the show? I mean, because you're a one-woman show, so you really can't change through too much, can you?
No, I play 36 characters in the full show, which is what the public shows are. Friday night, Saturday night, and Saturday and Sunday afternoons. So yeah, I played 36 characters. So, and there's a lot of dialogue between the Hedy and the other characters. So I'm in one costume.
Just one. But it seems to me like you put something on or whatever on top and take it off.
I thought when I was developing it, I have all these hats and I'll be, and that's great if you're doing monologue where you're one person for a long time. You're the one person for a long time. You can do costume changes. A lot of people do in solo theater. But I discovered very quickly, I have dialogue. I'm scenes. So on, off with a hat. My wig would be a hot mess. So I use vocal changes and and movement characteristics in order to portray the different characters. And Hedy lets the audience know what's going on. They always know who's speaking. I thought it was more interesting whenever I could bring in other characters for Hedy to interact with, for the audience and for me in the end, rather than Hedy just saying, this happened, I did this, in past tense. I find that less exciting than something happening in the moment and Jimmy Stewart showing up and having a scene with Hedy.
In terms of your research, what was to you like the most interesting aspect about the character that you said, oh my goodness, I didn't realize this, that happened? Was there one particular footnote that you uncovered that you didn't think anybody else knew about, or anything like that?
Well, I mean, well, first, the most interesting thing is, wait, she wasn't just the beautiful face. She created this technology we're using every day. I think the thing that I enjoy a lot was discovering her wit and her sense of humor. And I made sure to weave that through the show. And I'm friends with her, who Arlene Roxbury was Hedy's best friend. And I visit her sometimes on Long Island, and we joke around, and she's just a lot of fun. And I know that Hedy and Arlene joked around a lot the same way that Arlene and I joke around. So that's something that that I enjoy a lot.
Yeah. This is a picture that you sent us of you performing in Dublin. Can you tell me a little bit about what was special about that particular performance?
Well, it was a technology conference sponsored by Silicon Republic. And at the time it was called Inspire Fest. And it was actually held at the Bord Gáis Energy Theatre, which is a gorgeous theater in the middle of Dublin. And it's basically the Broadway house of Dublin. I think it has 2,111 seats and beautiful balconies. And so it was a really wonderful experience. And then it was in a technology conference. It was wonderful. And their review said the show was effervescent.
Well, why not? The star is, obviously so. And I think I have a photo that was taken of you at a school in, of all places, South Africa. That's a pretty far distance to go. Can you tell me a little bit about this, and what was the background on that particular?
I think this one's going to be St. Catherine's Girls High School.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it to open for me, if it will.
If that's the one it is, I will chat about it now. So in Mbangeni, South Africa, yes, this is during a performance for the girls of St. Catherine's Girls High School.
And so these girls are what, in middle school or in high school?
High school. High school,
okay.
Yeah, high school. And I was there with the UniZulu Science Center that's associated with the University of Zululand. And I was there for a full week during, I think it was during National Science Week. So I did performances at the Science Center, and we went around to a lot of different schools, including this one. And since a lot of things. So it was interesting doing the show in Catholic high school, because there's a lot of talk about breasts, because this was a problem because Hedy was not well endowed. And so I started feeling a little awkward that I was talking about breasts a lot. And then at the end, I talked to one of the teachers. She's like, well, they all have them. They got to learn how to deal with it. And also Hedy was married 6 times. And I got to the point where she'd already been married 3 times. And I say, in my own life of desire, I was married 3 more times. And there was this gasp among the girls. And I just stopped as Hedy and I said, well, this is a lesson to you. Choose carefully the very first time. You only need to be married once. and to make sure that they married someone who was supportive of them in their dreams, and that they wouldn't go with someone who would stifle their dreams. And I really realized that was very important. There, I believe I'm in Vermont.
Uh-huh.
That's actually with the Grange Hall Cultural Center. And I actually wrote the show as an artist in residence with them.
And I guess all of these are pretty much, that one was a long shot. Now, what is she holding up there? Do we know?
It's a mirror.
Ah.
It's a mirror. So the audience has summoned Hedy from the beyond to explain how someone so unexpected was able to create this technology. And Hedy is discovering this. And so she wants a clue to how he's ended up in this place. So she looks at herself in the mirror and discovers that she's young. Oh, well, this is how she's been told that when you return, it's in the image of your best moment. So,
well, she looks very good there.
Of
course, you look very good there.
Oh, there. That's actually the moment depicting a moment from the film Ecstasy.
Ah, now Ecstasy was a controversial film, as it were, was it not? That was,
yes.
She was not clothed, as I recall.
Right. Well, it was. She ran through a field naked and swam fully bare-bottomed, and but she wasn't the first. That was not the first nude scene in legitimate film, but it was the first depiction of female orgasm in legitimate film.
Oh.
But it's an art film, and it's her.
Yes.
This much of her, she's clothed. It's just her face.
Right.
And
acting is what it's called. Acting.
She did a very good performance in this, and I think it was filmed when she's about 17. So
that's about right. I mean, remember, I take a look at a lot of the films that like Elizabeth Taylor, was in early on, and she was, a mere teenager herself.
Yeah,
involved in National Velvet. What was Little Women? I mean, she was striking, of course, but she was still a very young girl, and I hate to think about taken advantage of by some of the other people who were in the film industry at that point, but that's sort of the way it goes.
Yeah.
That's something that we all have to teach our youngsters about, being careful. So we're gonna sort of wrap things up right now. I mean, we're getting to the end of our first half hour. We have another show to talk about, two Elizas, which you already mentioned, Jenny Mercein, and we have a couple of other people who will be coming into the show with us as well. We're not actually, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll break and have the other people come in, but they're not here yet, which is really kind of troubling to me because they should have joined.
Come on shortly.
Yeah, they should have joined earlier, and so they could check everything out. But in any event, oh, good, they're coming now. Lori's coming. And, yeah, we'll get the whole group. Okay, so we have one person, and Jenny will hopefully come in soon as well. So again, let me. Oh, good, they're all coming. So Heather, I think I'm going to let you say hello to Jenny. Jenny, hello there.
Hi,
Heather.
Yeah, of course. Cool.
It's one woman show night tonight.
It's exquisite. So
We solo performers got to stick together.
Yes.
And I have to confess, I actually had reached out to yet another single woman show performer, Jessica Scher, who has, Betty Davis isn't for sissies, and unfortunately, she's taking a class tonight of some sort, and she was unable to join us. But she sends her best to both of you because she's seen your shows, and
she played at the museum as well.
Yes. So are you cleaning up your lens there, Jenny?
Cleaning my lens, but it's not really helping.
No, it never will. It never will. You're not. It's just one of those things you have to deal with. The internet is unto itself unforgiving.
Well, it's it looks like I sort of have this sort of the Sybil Shepherd kind of Vaseline lens going.
So let me take a look at the BB Stage Door Canteen right above you and watch what happens. Magically, it changes to the Herman Grimma House.
Yay.
And that's going to be our cue to say goodbye. Heather, again, your performance is going to be March the 13th at 7 p.m.
Yes.
We have dinner and lunch shows. Lunch show starts at 11:45. Dinner at 6 o'clock at the World War II Museum BB Stage Door Canteen. And then on Sunday, we have, of course, I think it was 2:00 show, right?
2:00.
So-
Yeah,
and-
2:00 on
It was a little
Sunday.
bit around 1 or so, but no food on Sunday. You
No
can beg.
food
You're still not
on
gonna get it.
Sunday.
But Heather, thank you for being with us, and again, your delight, and again, thank you for being with us tonight. We're gonna
Of course,
turn our
Alan.
attention to yet another one-woman show. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Heather,
Alrighty.
See you in
All right.
Orleans.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's continue onward. Jenny, and now please, I would pronounce it Mercein. Is that correct? Or how do I pronounce it?
You would be not the first to do so, but it's actually Mercein.
And I asked ahead of time. That's why I'm appearing to be dumb.
No,
But I
you're not.
asked ahead of time, and they said it's a very good question. I said this is the way I would say it. And they said it probably is right, and of course I'm probably wrong. I knew that would happen, but that's okay. That's my light. My life is like that. I end up always getting the wrong thing, putting the foot in the mouth all the time. But that's the way it goes. Now I know we have 2 directors of yours, and I know at one point we were going to have your publicist from Herman Grimm join us. I don't know if Haley's going to be on the show or not, but I know that you've got Ryder and you've got Lori.
Yeah,
So
Ryder says he's here, but
they're both here. They're both here. I wanted to talk to you first a little bit about this show. You did this show apparently back in 2024, and you've been in New Orleans as a Tulane professor. How long?
I came here in 2016. So I've been
You've
here
been here
for
just
10
about
years.
a full 10 years. Yeah. Okay. And you know what? One of the caveats that I mentioned to everybody is that what we did when we started the show back in April the 1st, it was an April Fool's joke that is still continuing. We said, you know what? Nothing is open in theater. We all need to sort of connect with each other. What better way to connect than through liquid libation? So I have myself some amaretto. And I don't know what you brought in. What did you have there?
A glass of a dry white wine. I think it's a Verdejo. So cheers, Alan.
Is that Italian or Spanish?
I think.
Spanish. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was Italian or Spanish. So thank you for coming in. I know that Lori and Ryder will have their own as well. But before I bring them in, because they're directors, and was this show curated by you elsewhere and then brought to New Orleans? Or how did this turn out?
So the show started in 2020. I actually, during COVID, I had the idea and I started developing it. I had a wonderful research assistant from Tulane, a student who helped me do all this intense research about this amazing ancestor of mine who I knew nothing about. And the first iteration, we did a staged reading up in at a place called Luna Stage, which is in Montclair, New Jersey, or West Orange, New Jersey, right near Montclair. And that staged reading was in 2022. And then the reading went so well that they invited me back, and I did a full production in New Jersey in 2023. That was the world premiere. But that production, we had already, my colleague from Tulane, Maxime Samarov, had composed this beautiful cello score. It was, when Ryder comes on, I'll have to give credit where credit is due. It was Ryder's idea. But the theater in New Jersey did not want to have a live cellist. So the production was wonderful, but it never felt complete. And so we had this idea, what if we tried to do it site specifically in a historic home? And so Lori came on board as a co-director, and we started workshopping it. And then we were able to do it. The Herman Grimm House is just the perfect fit because it was built in the right era. It was built in 1831, and my ancestor took a case to the Supreme Court in 1847.
As a woman?
A woman, yes,
Wow.
as a woman.
That's pretty impressive.
And it's really incredible. And so it evokes exactly the right period. And then something I also love is that in the 1920s, the Women's Exchange bought the Herman Grimm House, and they used it as a place to provide housing for unmarried single women. So I just love that the house itself has a history of being a refuge for strong, independent women.
So I wanted to, before I bring in Lori, and just be patient, guys. We're going to get you in a second. But I wanted to also mention that I saw a rather impressive work at Tulane that you were responsible for as well. And it had to do with date rape, if you will, students on Tulane's campus. It was culled from statistics that were actually, gathered by the students and then put together into a work. And you did it. I think a couple of times, right?
We did. It's called Role Play, and
Yes.
it premiered. I along with Goat in the Road Productions, Chris Kamenstein and Sharon Flaherty, and we worked together with the 11 students at Tulane to journey them through the process of creating an original play about toxic behavior on campus. And that premiered in 2019, also along with Darcy Fulcher. And we filmed the process, and the documentary about role play premiered at South by Southwest in 2024. And we're going to have some exciting news coming up this year about a digital release of the film, so it can be seen all across the country.
So again, it has legs still. It's still viable.
It is that, I mean, they also did it last year. They did it at LSU. The play has been published. I just happen to have it right here.
Right.
Published in such a way that other universities, anything that's Tulane specific in the text is in italics. So we invite other universities to, at Tulane, it's the boot. But at another college, it's called something else. Like I think at LSU, it was like Tiger's Den or something.
Yeah.
So the hope is that the film will inspire other university theater departments to let their students create a piece that really speaks to their campus culture.
And it's a big story. I do appreciate that. So let me bring in Lori. Lori, you serve as the director of this project, or one of two directors, I guess.
One of two directors. That's right.
So now we divided it in such a way. How are you, involved in the project? What aspect of the play were you directing?
Well, Ryder and I are true co-directors in that there isn't one aspect that I took on or Ryder took on. We were always in collaboration with Jenny, which I think is always necessary when working on a one-person show, that like it isn't just one person's vision. You know what I mean? The actor is entrusting the director to have his outside eye. And in this case, she had two outside eyes, which was really helpful when we were staging it in the round. We were able to put ourselves in the space strategically for her to feel what it would feel like to have audience members on all sides of her. But we were true collaborators, all three of us.
I have Ryder in the room now.
Oh,
Ryder,
hey.
Welcome. So since she
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't? You can't hear anything?
Hello?
Oh, you know what? I think it looks like your ears are off. Do you have any headphones?
What do you
think? It's probably headphones. Take the headphones out and just use the regular native speaker.
Guys, I can't hear anyone.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna make a big reveal here, Alan.
Yes.
Big reveal is that Ryder. Part of why Lori is an amazing co-director is Ryder is also my husband. So he could also just walk one foot away.
Ryder, come on in the other room. Yeah.
Let's be united in marriage here.
Yeah. I'll just I'm sorry about that. I'll just kick you from the studio. There you go.
I can say, I mean, I'm half joking, but I'm half not joking that because Ryder is actually, talked about in the show, and the show is so much about a woman's journey that it actually, in some points I'm like, is it indulgent that it's a one-person show with two directors, but they both bring so much to the project and such different perspectives that I feel just so blessed to work with both of them.
So I'm changing your name now. So there we go. Ryder, tell me a little bit about, obviously being married to the star. You were brought into the project pretty early on, I guess. Yeah. But what aspect of working with Lori can you tell me a little bit about what you handled and in other words, were you interested in doing certain aspects that Lori felt would be better with you as a husband, or was everything open?
I don't know. I don't remember if we actually drew any lines like that. I think Lori and I just really got along on this project, and I think we talked about our ideas about it together, independent of Jenny, like what we thought of the script and what we thought of this. I guess talking about the evolution of it, I knew Jenny was working on it, and I always really loved the story, and I helped her do some dramaturgy on it, and I found this beautiful poem, and then we got a cellist involved who was actually a Loyola student who performed in a production of Melancholy Play, which I think you reviewed.
Yes.
So the cellist in that show became cellist for this show because I thought that girl's amazing. Let's get her involved in this.
And Jenny said that cellist did not make the trip up to the world premiere that in Jersey.
Not in New Jersey, no, but that was the New Jersey theater thing that Lori and I were both not too happy about that she got named. But we had heard that there was also this trying to think, this aspect of shaping the story that I was really excited about. I really want to tell the story, but we realized that there were a lot of personal things in it that would maybe inhibit me directing Jenny. So it'd probably be better if we brought someone else in. So we wanted to bring Lori in, and then so Lori and I talked about the show. Yes, I wanted to mention Maxime. Yes, he was the other person. So we got Maxime from
Maxime Samarov
from Tulane, and he was a wonderful collaborator. But it was great to hear his contributions and then talk to Lori about what we both thought about them. And I remember those meetings and two of us sort of, figuring out how best to guide him about the sounds and the music that we wanted. And it's been great, working with Lori and getting, agreeing on a lot and getting Jenny to go along with everything.
So I guess I'd like to sort of talk a little bit about, without revealing too much, because I appreciate the fact that if I talk a little bit about what the storyline is, it might spoil it for some people, because you said you were talking about your ancestor, but the title of this work is Two Elizas. So I suspect very strongly that there's someone else down the road who is going to be named as a connection to that ancestor in some way.
Alan, you're so smart. You're such a smart interviewer, though, because that is something that is revealed at the end of the play.
Right. So I don't want to spoil it.
It has elicited in the past, I don't want to jinx it, but in the past it has elicited some verbal gasps from the audience.
Yeah.
But I can talk very freely about my ancestor, Eliza.
Okay.
Who,
So you already talked about the fact that, and before I go any further, Lori, I'm not going to ignore you or Ryder's drink. What did y'all bring into the room tonight? Yep, come on, Lori. I see you go first. Ladies first.
Ladies first. Well, Alan, I'm a little bit of a hippy dippy witchy type. And so I've got a tea that I brewed a couple days ago that is really delicious. It's ginger, pineapple, there's cloves and turmeric and other magical things.
So it's good for you and good for what ails you.
Oh, exactly. I haven't had a cold in I don't know how long.
Very good. And I noticed that Ryder had to go grab his drink, so I didn't want to make you have to go in the other room unnecessarily. So I gave you a little bit of time while I was talking to Lori first. No,
I'm drinking the same thing Jenny's drinking.
Oh, same bottle, huh?
Same bottle.
Can you confirm it's from Spain?
Yes.
So again, to go back to your ancestor, you already mentioned the fact that she, back in the 1830s, had brought a case up before the United States Supreme Court. Very impressive to begin with, a woman taking any case to court. But I guess, she must have been a rather formidable woman in other ways too, because it wasn't exactly considered proper for a woman to be doing those sorts of things, right? I mean, that was a man's world back then, and women couldn't even own property, if I'm not mistaken, at that point.
No. I mean,
women were property.
Yeah, the crux of the case is that she was in a very unhappy marriage, and she and her family knew they had to get her out of that marriage, and so the father brokered a deal that in order to end the marriage, she would have to. Technically, at that point, it was British common law. So women and children were considered the property of the man. There's a reference. There's a great reference to that in Little Women. I recently remembered. So they brokered a deal that they would give this man Eliza's son, and that she would get to keep her daughter. And that worked for about 1 week. And then her ex-husband started suing her to try to get custody of her daughter back. And she would not give up. And she fought and she fought. And it was legislated in the courts for 8 years. And finally, it went all the way to the US Supreme Court, and the court ruled that she could keep her daughter. And it's still cited as precedent to this day for a woman's right, not only to keep custody of her child, but also it's interesting for a woman's right to exit a marriage absent of physical abuse, because he was psychologically a horror, but she never asserted physical abuse. And still, I have had lawyers tell me that to this day, they still cite this case, Berry versus Mercein.
Huh. Very good. Very good. And again, it reminds me of the story of the Baroness Pontalba, what a terrible marriage she had to survive. And actually, an assassination attempt by her husband, who took his own life at that point. And of course, the fact that he died allowed her to inherit. And that's why we have the Pontalba apartment buildings these days, because of the money that she ended up getting in receipt later on. Did your ancestor die a wealthy woman? Was she remarried? Or, yeah.
It's funny. I mean, I think I obliquely referenced this in the play, but my family and I, because we didn't know anything about this ancestor until I started researching for the play. And what we discovered was that the original Merceins were quite a prominent family in New York, but they lost all their money in the course of pursuing this court case of defending Eliza and trying to keep the child. And also there was like a panic of 1837. So there was a financial panic of 1837.
Right.
And the case went all the way until 1847. And between those two things, the family basically lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that everything, man, Alan, you have no idea. Like they owned so much property in New York. And if we had kept like low but one apartment, things would be very different now. But no, it was all lost.
And again, I guess it's interesting that nobody else in the family talked about it, because you would have probably heard as a young lady growing up about. Now, this would have been what, a great
She's my great aunt.
Great aunt. Okay. Yes. Wow.
It's crazy, Alan. Her father was named Thomas Royce Mercein. My brother is Thomas Royce Mercein IV. And yet we do nothing. I mean, part of it, I have my father, whose name is Charles Mercein. He has this tiny modicum of fame in that he was a professional football player. So I sometimes think that like my dad's little bit of fame took up all the air in the room, and there was no room for Eliza and her court case because we were too busy talking about my dad and Vince Lombardi. I'm proud of my father. Don't get me wrong. I'm very proud of my dad. But yeah, somehow it just didn't get passed through the generations.
Lori, are you at Tulane as well?
No, not at Tulane.
So how did the two of you make, kind of get together to work on this project?
Well, I found out that during the pandemic, I was directing a show in New York that got shut down. We were, I think, 1 week out before tech, March 13th, when everything had to stop. And so we were scrambling to think about, what do we do with all the work that we've done on this show? And the playwright of that show is one of Jenny's best friends. And so we ended up having a Zoom performance of the play. And we presented like the scenic design and the costume design, and really tried to have an immersive experience, giving the audience a bit of what they would have experienced had the show been able to have a full run. And Jenny was in the audience, and I didn't know that at the time. And I heard from Nandita that, she had a friend who wanted to connect with her, to connect with me. And we met at Rue de la Course over on Carrollton, and the rest is history, as they say.
And do you live here? Have you always lived in New Orleans, or?
Yes, I'm from New Orleans, but I also left when I was 18 to go to school, and then moved to New York. And then when the pandemic hit, I moved back home. And so now I split my time between here and New York.
Yeah, I was just wondering, was there a theater in New York that you worked with primarily when you were up there?
Yeah, mainly the public theater is one of my artistic homes.
Interesting. Okay.
Lori, may I interrupt, Alan, just to say, if Lori Lori was most recently the resident director of the national tour of SUFs. So she has quite a pedigree, my Lori.
I love SUFs. I got a chance to meet with Shayna Taub after the show. Yeah, she's a lovely lady, and I was rooting for her as Emma Goldman.
Yes.
When I saw Ragtime, I thought that was such a wonderful selection for her. And now that Julie Benko's going the show, I'm even going crazier than that. But that's another story. But yeah, she's a phenomenal talent, and you know, I was glad to see her get her due in terms of. I thought maybe she might have pulled out, you know, the best musical that year too, but it just was not meant to be.
I don't know how you win best score and best book and don't take home best musical, but you know.
Well, it's happened in the past.
It has.
You know, but that's unfortunate, but that's, you know, kind of the way it goes. Well, listen, that's fantastic. So maybe you can tell me, since you have the inside track there, why didn't SUFs ever make it down to New Orleans?
Well, so we have we're still on tour right now. It's in its second leg of the first year. And, you know, it's big business, and it's a different business than Broadway. And so we're looking to see how this first.
Well, the Sanger already announced their season for next year. So I know it's not going to be in 2026 or 2027.
But hold your horses, Alan.
All right. All right. I was hoping for Just in Time, and thankfully that's on the announced shows. But yes, if SUFs makes it down even for 3 days or something like that, I'll be very happy to see it.
Yeah, it's an incredible show.
Yeah, I think it's great. Okay, so we're talking about another incredible show called The Two Elizas, or just Two Elizas. I wanted to throw up, you know, one of the photos. You know, you didn't have a whole lot. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on? Because I see the cellist is in the back, and you're praying, it looks like, in character, obviously. So is this an emotional part of the play where you're dealing with your potential loss of your daughter, or is this
actually, Alan, that's actually from the very beginning of the play, and I will let your viewers know it is from the very beginning of the play when it's from a true story. I called my father to tell him that I had gotten engaged, and his response was, "My greatest prayer has been answered." So I say, okay, so like, you know, not a cure for cancer, not world peace. And then I enact my father getting on his knees, praying, "Please, dear God, don't let my youngest daughter remain a spinster."
Yes. Be barren, as it were. Yes. Well,
yes.
Okay. We understand. And this play, again, Herman Grimmahouse, I need to know the times. And that's why I was hoping that Haley was here. But do we know that? Yeah. Can you tell me exactly? Because I know it's only I think it's 4, right? 4 that we're dealing with. Yes. So can you tell me when it opens? Is it the 19th?
Yes, it opens March 19th, and it runs the 19th to the 22nd, Thursday through Sunday, and all shows are at 6 p.m. So the show runs just about 80 minutes or so. So it's perfect. You go down to the French Quarter, you see a show, and you're out right in time for a delicious dinner.
And what about in the event of God forbid rain or whatever? Is it indoors mostly, or do you use the outdoors?
Well, the show is set inside in that front parlor. It's a beautiful space for the show.
Okay, so there's no problem. There's no problem with if there is an occasional shower or something like that. It's not going to interfere with the show. And as far as Herman Grimmahouse, that's where we have to go. I know that they have a QR code that I want to go pull out if I can go grab the picture, but it's hhgh.org, right? hhgh.org. And I'll put that up in the banner so people can see that. That's where you go to hhg Herman Grimma, it's hhgh.org. Let's see if I can get that to show that up.
Yep.
Right? Am I correct?
I think that's right.
So, and let me see if I can find the QR code that you all had sent. A beautiful banner. Who was responsible for the banners that you did? Because those are all new. Was that through Herman Grimmahouse in-house publicizing?
The graphics were done by a classmate of mine in college, a man named DC Scarpelli, and DC is the in-house graphic designer now for Berkeley Rep, but he kindly did that for me.
Let's see if I can get it to come up. I think this is the one there. There you go. So if you'll take that QR code right now, if you see it, it'll take you right to the Herman Grimmahouse
And
Yeah.
that's the actual portrait of Eliza Mercein Berry, who is my ancestor, who took the case to the Supreme Court.
That's fantastic. I think I've got an Instagram poster that was done too. Let's see if that'll show up. And so it's HGGHH. So see, I made that's why I wanted to make sure I had that right. That I didn't know if you so I correct that, hggHH.org. So I'm missing
you're missing a G.
G's in the middle, yeah.
Is the Gallier. It's like historic Herman Grimme Gallier House.
Okay.
Something.
Yeah. That's always
doesn't roll off the
something. Always something. HGGHH. So I'll see if I can hide that and then edit it. Okay,
H double G double H.
H double G double H, and that should take care of it. All right, let's see if that saves and that works. Come on, people.
Yeah. Woo!
Love it. It's technology. It works when you want it to sometimes. And again, I want to thank y'all for being here tonight and talk about this show. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I know that one of my fellow reviewers saw it back in 2024 and had nothing but nice things to say about it, which of course I would expect. Obviously, you put a lot of work into it, etc. You've got two directors, one of whom is your husband, and you're in trouble if it doesn't work out, right? But no, the point being that you had done very well with it. It sold out the last time, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know how well ticket sales are doing this year?
I think they're doing pretty well. I haven't. They were giving me daily updates, and I said, you know what? I don't need daily updates. Let's just keep pushing. I think New Orleanians also tend to be last minute ticket purchasers in some ways, but
tell me about it.
I think that the show has humor and heart, and we've been very lucky critically, and I credit Ryder and Lori. And the one person I haven't given a shout out yet to is Dylan Hunter, who some of your viewers might know because he's a member of Goat in the Road as well. And Dylan worked with Amanda Duffin, our cellist, to create a soundscape on the cello. And it's really unique. So we have both classical music that underscores it, and then there are times when Amanda uses the cello in a truly mind-blowing way. And that's really a credit to Dylan as well. So the whole one-woman show thing is really a misnomer because so many artists helped on this gig.
All right, so two Elizas, the Herman Grimme House in the Quarter, and the actual address of Herman Grimme House. Do you know it offhand or where it is?
That's a great thing that I should know.
Maybe I should know too. I think it's like somewhere like on St. Louis or Conti, but
it's right across the street from BMAX, right?
Isn't it also across the street from Broussard's, which would probably make it Conti? I'm pretty sure that.
Well, I'll tell you this: wherever it is, I would have pronounced the name wrong. It's on St. Louis.
St. Louis. Okay, so St. Louis. Okay, so St. Louis is the same street as Antoine's. For those of you who know, so you go past Antoine's is St. Louis, and right off of Royal, between Royal and Bourbon, and then the next block up would be Dauphine, and it's somewhere in that block. I'm pretty sure. So again, those of you who are interested and would like to see a really fun historical show steeped in truth and with a fantastic performance, Tulane professor Jenny Mercein. I have it,
Alan.
I got it. Okay, her husband Ryder Thornton, of course, and her fellow director Lori Parquet, who's again working with Ryder as the director of this program, and we appreciate you being with us tonight. Again, we've had two one-woman shows. First off, earlier tonight was Heather Massie with Hedy, The Life and Inventions of Hedy Lamarr, and now, of course, two Elizas. And again, I hope that you, as they say in show business, break legs, that everything goes well, that we know that this is only one weekend in both cases, one weekend for Hedy this weekend and one weekend for you, plus another day on Thursday for next weekend at Herman Grimme. So I hope that people will avail themselves. There's a lot going on. We have a lot of things coming up. You know, the Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival is coming up. The New Orleans Opera is having their Opera Fest, and the Crescent City Theater Awards, which I am sort of in charge of now with my committee. We're going to have our award show on the 30th of March for the benefit of the theater community here in New Orleans for the second time in just a few months. So we hope everybody will join us. And I know what you're talking about with ticket sales being a little slow sometimes, because so far we've sold 2 tickets.
Well, I just think it's so great that in Women's History Month, we have both Hedy, Lamarr, and 2 Elizas. So I hope people will come out.
Fantastic. Stick around for just a second before you go. I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody. Again, I want to thank Lori and Ryder and Jenny, and earlier, of course, Heather, for being with me tonight. Again, appreciate you being with me tonight. My name's Alan Smason, and this is NOLA Theater Talk. We broadcast to the NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, our theatercriticism.com Facebook page, and my own YouTube channel. Thank you for being with me. And again, I'll see you all at the theater.